We now get underway with our next race. It's the first junior Rotax heat of the meeting. It's groups B versus C. Here is your starting grid. On the front row, it's going to be Mateo Radenkovic on pole position with Zane Quaker alongside on the front row. Luca Sells and Noah Janssen are on row 2, followed by Boris Maximov and Max Cuthbert. Martin Lischner and Matthias Jellerup rounding out row 4 ahead of Vadas Majauskis and Tino Sidler, who complete the top 10. Thomas Ingram-Hill and Jake Menton, that's row 6. Row 7, it's Franciszek Sulima with Arnon Vida. Then you've got Kasper Nissen, Victor Galmisch, Hanna Zuberfeld, Ethan Carney, Theodore Tubal, Ryan Bulguino. They round out the top 20 positions. Mathieu Sometre, Vlad Tominchuk, Jensen Pritchard, Ryan Gandor, Kyle Christian Tukru and Oliver Stedler round out the complete 26-strong grid. So the drivers will be racing around this circuit for 7 minutes plus an additional lap. So now they will be on their formation lap as soon as the lights go on the gantry, which they have done so. So again, the October autumnal sunshine is trying to grace us with its welcome presence and warmth, especially the circuit will very much lap that up, especially in terms of having track evolution over the course of the race day. So 26 drivers, 13 rows of competitors, 7 minutes plus an additional lap. For the first of 3 heats for Junior Rotax for the Golden Trophy for 2023. So they split, they head into the tram lines, revs rise, noise increases, lights are out, we are underway. And Mateo Radenkovic leads the field. Oh, bit of a sideways moment there. I think that might have been possibly by the Luca Sells and Noah Janssen going into turns 1 and 2 under braking, the front end snapping to the left-hand side. 3 wide at points going through into turn number 4. That is never easy to negotiate, and someone normally gets exited out stage right. But Noah Janssen finds himself behind Zane Quaker, a young man from Manchester in the UK. I know the family are watching, as some drivers stumbling over each other's shoelaces. Ryan Gandor's caught up between a rock and a hard place at the back end of the field, but he's made up a couple of positions in the meantime. However, leader makes his way out of turn number 11. That's Radenkovic. Cuthbert now from 6 goes up to P2. Oh, someone was definitely grass cutting very, very quickly coming out of turn number 11. That might have been Lucas Sells from France in the 2:55 as they come across the line. Lucas Sells has got Zane Quaker and Noah Janssen not too far behind. And there goes the young man from Manchester up for P3. Noah Janssen gets through as well. So the French driver loses 2 positions on the bounce and now has Boris Maximov for close company heading into turn 6. Radenkovic has scarpered away into the distance to the tune of 1.1 seconds. Now here's the scramble. Janssen through on Quaker. As that got a bit too close for comfort. Oh, dearie me, Lucas Sells has lost another 3 positions. So you had the likes of Maximov, Majauskis, Jellerup all going through. So Lucas Sells not having a good first opening heat of the race day. As now through on Zane Quaker goes Boris Maximov. That's the change for P3. They've got the 2.72 of Vadas Majauskis closing in on them as they come out of the final corner and complete lap number 2. Oh, 2 off and 1 sideways into the barriers. That is the 2.85 of Sulima from Poland. So two coming together, and it never helps, especially at that part of the circuit. When you go too wide, it's 2x2 hurrah a little bit further down at the back end of the field. Coming through turn two, they're at it like nobody's business. But at the moment, well, Noah Janssen has got himself up into second position. Boris Maximov started fifth, now is third. Zane Quaker was on the outside of the front row, now P4. He's got the 272 of Alas Majauskis up his inside. Majauskis through at turn 9. And at the moment, Matej Radenkovic not only has the fastest lap of the race, but also has a comfortable lead. That was 1.7 seconds. Zane Quaker loses out. That is to Lucas Sells, I believe, in the 255. So Quaker down to 7th, as there goes the 230. Boris Maximov through on Germany's Noah Janssen for second position. A neat move by the young Dutchman, who last year was the Minimax European champion. And this year has had a very, very steep learning curve in juniors. But at the end of the first year, the pace is starting to come to the young man from the Netherlands. Noah Janssen has been a similar story, but has been in juniors a little bit longer than the man in front of him. So that is the battle for what is third place on the road, as Max Cuthbert is already out of turn 11 and into turn 12. But Matej Radenkovic, this year's BNL and European champion, is pulling away like it was absolutely nothing, like everyone else is standing still, and leads by nearly 2.4 seconds. Cuthbert, Maximov, Janssen, Majauskis, Lucas Sells, Zane Quaker, Thomas Ingram Hill, now up into 8th, Jake Menton, and Denmark's Kasper Nissen complete the top 10. Carl Christian Tokru, who started 25th, is now 14th. The Estonian has moved up the order by 11 positions. As we have a battle between Jake Menton and Kasper Nissen. That's for 9th and 10th place respectively between the two as they go through into turn 7 at the chicane on the off of the Europolan. But Maximov trying to pull away at this moment from Noah Janssen. This is the battle for P3. So it's not going to be easy. But this race weekend format is going to be very, very difficult to judge. For some, it's quite new. Probably for a lot of the field, it might be quite new. But Radenkovic now expands his lead. Here goes a move, and that is Thomas Ingram Hill on Zane Quaker. That's for 7th place. So a very clean move facilitated by the 228, running with Dan Holland Racing. Minute and 35 still left on the timer. Thomas Ingram Hill is pulling away from Zane Quaker. With a minute and 15 to go. Maximov is not being let getting away from Noah Janssen. Janssen has literally been within a few thousandths of a second of the young man from the Netherlands in front of him. Thomas Ingram Hill, new fastest lap of the race, 57.195 by the young man in the 228, currently running P7. Matej Radenkovic is now nearly 3 seconds up the road from Max Cuthbert, who holds on to P2. P3 still being hotly contested by Messrs Maximov and Janssen as we speak. And Maximov is probably the best part of nearly 5 seconds off Max Cuthbert. So they're battling effectively on the scraps, for the scraps on the table at this moment. So 2 more laps remain in this first of 3 junior Rotax heats. We're now on to lap 8 out of 9, and the timer counts down and strikes 0 right now. That is it. 1 more lap to go after this one. And Maximov and Janssen are inseparable. They're joined at the bumpers, so to speak. Down the Europlan they go for the penultimate time. Not too far behind them, Aras Majauskis has got Lucas Sells closing in, along with Thomas Ingram Hill. And Thomas Ingram Hill has put in another blinder of a flying lap. He's done another fastest lap of anybody, even was half a tenth quicker than the race leader. 56.947 by the 228 from DHR. But the last lap board seen by Matej Radenkovic. And now Max Cuthbert, here we go. This could be the hurry-up sign for Noah Janssen that he needs. That little extra spur of motivation for the 2-3-1 from Germany as they head into turns 1 and 2. And there is the battle behind. That's for 5th place. Aras Majauskis, Lucas Sells and Thomas Ingram Hill. That's from 5th to 7th place. As our leader now makes his way through into turn 8 for what's going to be the final time. And this is where it gets a bit dicey, and that is Thomas Ingram Hill up from 7th to 5th into turn number 6 on the Europlan on the final lap of this race. But our race leader now makes his way down into turn number 12 for the final time. Janssen with the last-ditch move on Maximov, but it's going to be Radenkovic that takes the race win by a comfortable margin. Radenkovic wins it. Cuthbert takes a very well done second. 3rd place is going to be a run to the line, and it's going to be Maximov. Maximov by next to nothing ahead of Noah Janssen, 7/100ths between them. Thomas Ingram Hill, great job there by the young man from the UK. Started 11th, finished 5th ahead of Aras Majauskis. Lucas Sells, Casper Nissen, Zane Quaker, and Jake Menton rounding out the top 10. Matthias Jallerup, Tino Sidler, Victor Galmisch, Hannes Uberfeld, Karl Christian Tukru, Martin Lechner, Ryan Gandor, Theodor Tubal, Vlad Tomenchuk, and Ryan Bourguignon rounding out the top 20. Aaron Vida, Mathis Aumetre, Jensen Pritchard, Oliver Stedler, Francisek Sulima, and Ethan Carney rounding out the 26. All drivers finishing every single one of the 9 laps of racing. So, Junior Rotax got going after a little bit of a wait, but with the drivers weaving from side to side, you could tell that there was an anticipation, a buzz in the air, as the revs would begin to rise once again on the start-finish straight, and the lights would go out with Radenkovic, again showcasing why he's been the man to beat this season in Junior Rotax in continental Europe. Great battles happening just behind us. Well, Max Cuthbert deciding to go and throw the Hail Mary round the outside of Zane Quaker through into turn 2. Now they are allowed to use the runoff area. Here's a little bit of a drama between, a little touch between Zane Quaker and Lucas Sells going into turns 1 and 2, which saw Noah Janssen et al., including the likes of Maximov behind, starting to close on in on them. And then further dramas. Well, it looks like Janssen had a little bit of a touch with the rear bumper, and this was a moment earlier on, and it was the 204 of Aaron Vida that got turned around, and Sulima from Poland unfortunately got caught out and caught up in the crossfire and managed to rejoin. And we also saw some stern elbows out moments. Aras Majauskis managing to get through on Zane Quaker through into turn 9, whereas Matej Radenkovic had comfortably pulled away from Max Cuthbert, who in turn had done the same with the likes of Boris Maximov and Noah Janssen, who were furiously battling over that final step in the top 3. We also had some great exchanges, including the likes of Lukas Sels, Aras Majauskis, and of course Thomas Ingram Hill, who managed to get through from 7th to 5th, but Radenkovic won it by a country mile ahead of Max Cuthbert, with Boris Maximov fending off Noe Jansen right up until the checkered to round out the top 3.